Okay.
Okay. My eyes fell on the line in the course, salvation is nothing more than right-mindedness. Salvation is nothing more than right-mindedness. Interesting. To be right-minded, we need to know what the ego is, so that we can let it go. And that's what we're going to learn today. What is the ego? What is the ego? That's quite a good question.
What is the ego? The ego is idolatry, the sign of limited and separate self, born in a body, doomed to suffer and to end its life in death. Well, he starts off pretty intense there, but very clear. It is the will that sees the will of God as enemy and takes a form in which it is denied. The ego is the proof that strength is weak and love is fearful. Life is really death, and what opposes God alone is true. Right, we can already see how wild this is. The ego is insane. In fear, it stands beyond the everywhere, apart from all, and separation from the infinite.
Wow, just that sentence. The ego is insane. In fear, it stands beyond the everywhere, apart from all, is separation from the infinite.
In its insanity, it thinks it has become a victor over God himself. And in its terrible autonomy, it sees the will of God has been destroyed. It dreams of punishment and trembles at the figures in its dreams, its enemies who seek to murder it before it can ensure its safety by attacking them.
The Son of God is egoless. The Son of God is egoless. What can he know of madness and the death of God when he abides in him? What can he know of madness and the death of God when he abides in him? What can he know of sorrow and of suffering when he lives in eternal joy? What can he know of fear and punishment, of sin and guilt, of hatred and attack, when all there is surrounding him is everlasting peace, forever conflict-free and undisturbed, in deepest silence and tranquility? To know reality is not to see the ego and its thoughts, its works, its acts, its laws, and its beliefs, its dreams, its hopes, its plans for its salvation, and the cost belief in it entails. In suffering, the price for faith in it is so immense that crucifixion of the Son of God is offered daily at its darkened shrine, and blood must flow before the altar where its sickly followers prepare to die. Yet will one lily of forgiveness change the darkness into light, the altar to illusions, to the shrine of life itself. And peace will be restored forever to the holy minds which God created as his Son, his dwelling place, his joy, his love, completely his, completely one with him. One lily of forgiveness will change the darkness into light. from all of those awful separated ideas and beliefs and feelings. One lily of forgiveness will change all of that. So we're going to practice now the next 10 lessons with seeing the ego, seeing its works, to be able to let it go. And Jesus will guide us through this with those lessons. So we can even make a little commitment inside of our hearts today to see a bit more when the ego is at work, to be able to let it go. Because it can hide. It can hide in many different ways. And there is always a sort of defense involved, or control, or an attack thought, or a feeling of separation in some way. So we can just learn to see this a bit more with the help of those next 10 lessons. So today we have lesson 331. There is no conflict, for my will is yours. There is no conflict, for my will is yours.
How foolish, Father, to believe your Son could cause himself to suffer. Could he make a plan for his damnation and be left without a certain way to his release? You love me, Father. You could never leave me desolate, to die within a world of pain and cruelty. How could I think that love has left itself? There is no will except the will of love. Fear is a dream, and has no will that can conflict with yours. Conflict is sleep, and peace awakening. Death is illusion, life eternal truth. There is no opposition to your will. There is no conflict, for my will is yours.
Forgiveness shows us that God's will is one, and that we share it. Let us look upon the holy sights forgiveness shows today, that we may find the peace of God. Amen.
Amen.
Let's look upon the holy sights forgiveness shows today. Forgiveness of all these other things we were talking about. The ego's doubts and attacks, righteousness maybe. There's many different ways. So by forgiving all that, we'll see holy sights. We can relax now with the prayer of, let me see what I need to release. And then let me just release it. Let me see the holy sights forgiveness offers. There is no conflict, for my will is yours. My will is one with God's. So we can just drop the blocks again. Are there any blocks? Peace of mind. Salvation is right-mindedness. To know reality is to not see the ego and its thoughts, its works, its acts, its laws, and its beliefs. It's not to see its dreams, its hopes, its plans for its salvation. The price for faith in the ego is so immense that crucifixion of the Son of God is offered daily at its darkened shrine. And this happens in suffering. And blood must flow before the altar where its sickly followers prepare to die. That is sad. And to know reality is not to see all that, to not even know all of that. To release it as the dream that it is, as the illusion that it is. And it's through the forgiveness, through the lilies of forgiveness, the beautiful white lily just has beautiful fragrance and innocence about it. Forgiveness. There is no righteousness or no little I to defend. What a lovely lesson. There is no conflict, for my will is yours. Just to remember that anytime during the day when there is a sense of conflict in the mind. So is there anything anyone would like to explore today? Julie?
Hi.
Hi.
I would like to place on the altar a feeling of being, feeling, hang on, what's the word? Unfairly judged by someone, and that I guess who's saying things about me that are false or that I never had the intention, like actually the intentions that I had were pretty much the opposite as what he's exposing to others. And so I seem to have lost a friend, and I think she doesn't talk to me. So she's the mother of that person. And I didn't defend or didn't do anything. It's ongoing. It's right now, like this morning, and I'm just watching what's going on in me, and it's changing. So this morning I felt pretty like in a way I couldn't relate to all that. Like it was, I felt peace. I couldn't, I can't relate with what is being said. So, but tonight it's a little more active, and so I have impulses of doing something, of rectifying things, of answering this email, or correcting. And when I go that way, it becomes so hectic in my mind. Like it's like it feels agitated, not very peaceful. So I don't think it's the way. So this lesson and also the section, what is the ego, and the lesson is very, very helpful. Yeah. So yeah,
because it's only if you do have some self-doubt, that you would react.
Yeah, I can see that there's actually, yes, if I follow that, if I follow the desire to try and correct or explain myself or defend, I'm in contact with that belief, well, with the guilt, really. Like I might, maybe he's right, maybe I'm bad, or I'm an imposter, or there's something, self-doubt, like you say. Yeah, that's it's somewhat familiar, like it's something that I experienced before. It's been in the past, but this time it's I would say it's different, because I can really pause and look, and still don't know what I'm going to do, or what if I'm going to do anything. I have no idea.
Yeah, and when you join with Christ, with right-mindedness, you may feel inspired to say something, to write something, but it comes from a whole other place than this place of defensiveness, but they got it all wrong, or backwards, that anger, or that it might be there first, but yeah.
So maybe I should just continue waiting. Maybe like what I had in mind was what is forgiveness? Forgiveness does nothing and looks and waits, judges not, kind of thing. It's like I feel that I'm there. I don't have the inspiration yet. The impulse, yes, like the reaction, yes, but not. So maybe perhaps I'll just stay still for now. Thank you. Feels good to voice it, to express it. Thank you.
Yeah. I mean, with the ego, we never hear the truth. So you said they actually made it the opposite of what you had said, and that is what the ego does. And with the separate consciousness, it only hears what it believes. So often, if you say something to someone, they don't hear what you say, they hear what they think, what they believe. So that's why we need to communicate. Let the Holy Spirit do the communication and the listening. Which is a nice practice. I remember one time in the past, in the community in the past, I was in a leadership function, and I gave some directions and I communicated things. And I noticed in one day how everything I'd said, nothing was followed. There was other things done, other things taken in than what I had said. And I mentioned that to David. I said, nobody actually does what I say. They just do what they believe. And he said, yeah, that's how the mind is. Until there is a readiness and the right-mindedness, then it's clear.
So did you, but do you rectify or? No.
No. He's been an example of everything changes, like accepting how everything changes, like. And as I observed him in the past, I also noticed if he communicated something, it was very often something else done, and he just went with it. And that beautiful acceptance. Yeah, like no investment. But yeah, I think there are times too when you feel it's right to be very clear and that what you communicate is understood. And that can also come from spirit. Well, thank you. Enjoy the next part of this process. Oh. There is no conflict, for my will is yours. And with that, we will close the session today. Thank you. Thank you, everyone.